Oh.
1 minute to go. I would go with it.
So, good afternoon. Welcome to Cabinet, and I have quite a few announcements, but I will save them to sort of in the middle of the meeting. So we will sort of move forward straight away. Just to let you know, we all know this, but have you got your mobile phones done to silent? And just bear in mind that we're being recorded live. And okay, so apologies.
Thank you, Chair. We have apologies from Councillor Rebecca Smith.
Thank you, Jamie. Item 2, declaration of interests. None? No. Item 3, minutes of the last meeting. Agree with them? Yeah. Thank you. Agenda item 4, questions from the public. I've got one to read, actually. Question from Mr. Greg Black. Does the leader support, as the previous leader did, the reopening of the rail line between Plymouth and Oakhampton via Tavistock? I do in principle, is my answer. Agenda item 5, Chair's urgent business. What I would like to do at this point is, I'm sure you know that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II is ill, and a statement has just been made where doctors are concerned for her health. We, as a city, send our thoughts, reflections and prayers to the royal household and to the family, and we'd like to record that onto the minutes of this meeting. Thank you. Other urgent business. I'm pleased to say that I visited the University of Arts, not the College of Arts anymore, so it's the third university that Plymouth now has. I think we should be immensely proud that we've got 3 fully established university institutions in our city. It's not easy to achieve university status. Very, very few colleges achieve that, and it's a mark of the specialisms that they've got there and the incredible innovation that's going on there under the leadership of Paul Fieldson Danks, who's now Vice-Chancellor. No, yeah, not just CEO, and Vice-Chancellor. So I visited a couple of days ago, and it was I was surprised at the stunning talent that's on display there. And I wanted to say to colleagues that I was unaware, but there is a front part of the university that is open for public access. It has an art gallery in there at the moment and an exhibition going on at the moment, but they would very much welcome public engagement, and I'm sure many of us will find time to visit the new university. So congratulations to them, and good luck to them for the new semester, as they start their new semester. Plymouth Business Council that we met with and had good discussions with yesterday. Councillor Dreen, Councillor Sher attended as well. I think there's about 50 businesses in the room, you know, really vibrant, really positive about the city, obviously concerned about the energy costs going up, and you know, wanting to sort of hear from government today about what those controls might be. But I did reaffirm to them that this administration is fully committed to securing the airport site and to getting Plymouth connectivity improved, not just nationally but internationally. We are a city approaching some 300,000 residents. We are one of the few cities with that population that doesn't have air connectivity. We've had it in the past, and we will, under this administration, have it in the future, I'm sure. So they're the 2 sort of immediate actions I'd like to say. Just to sort of reaffirm, and we'll discuss it more later, but the financial situation is grave. We have Citibank projecting inflation around 18.3% in January. If the international situation doesn't change, not just caused by sort of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, but other elements sort of globally, particularly the sort of the Chinese market situation. So that level of inflation or superinflation is expected to remain around, certainly in sort of the short and medium term. And obviously, these decisions that you're seeing on video are informed very much by us taking a really responsible approach to financial management and our legal obligation to balance the budget every year. And I thank colleagues for all of their hard work in ensuring that we are legally compliant and responsible in terms of financial planning. I think that concludes my urgent business, and then we move to agenda item 6, leaders' announcements. I'm pleased to say that now Freeport is very much underway. You know, we had the legislation signed off back end of June, start of July, and the tremendous work that sort of went in behind the scenes to secure that. We're one of 8 cities that has achieved Freeport status. I think now the challenge is, you know, in this difficult environment, is to make it happen and to actually explain to business and residents, you know, what the benefits are, because we've talked a lot at a higher level about jobs, the 3,500 higher value jobs that we anticipate it will deliver, but we now need to communicate what the benefits of this will be. The second thing to say is, I don't think I've addressed Cabinet since Sale GP. We don't have the initial economic impacts assessments in, but we know, you know, from attending and leading meetings there that this has probably been the highest visitor numbers that we had to the city for many, many years. And that's been stimulated by hosting this magnificent transnational event. Many meetings occurred with potential investors into the city, or those that are already in the city and are seeking to increase the amount of jobs that they're creating here. And I'm also pleased to say that with Sale GP, you had this wonderful contest going on the surface, but you had really lots and lots of sort of skills-related initiatives. There's loads of skills schemes and trying to sort of help kids to understand the technology that went into the voting and the geo-mapping and the rest of it. So, you know, a real emphasis on jobs creation, skills and learning. That was fantastic. Finally, I think I just want to talk about the success of the Marine Park. The Marine Park meant that we had more visitors, but also we had the most website hits on our website ever, I think, over the summer. So it's been a multiple success over here in the city over the summer. But Mark, is there anything you want to add to sort of leaders' announcements, because you were obviously at the helm over the summer as well?
I would like to add as a ex-serviceman that Plymouth City Council reconfirmed their commitment to the Armed Forces Covenant recently, along with the Base Commodore, and it was a very proud moment. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Councillor Share. I apologise to those watching. Councillor Share, I refer to you by your first name. Okay, agenda item 7, cabinet member updates. So over to Councillor Dreen. I think you've got something.
Thank you very much, Leader. I'll be as quick as I can, but there's a few interesting bits going on I wanted to share with everyone today. First of all, I'd like to talk about the mobility hubs that we're implementing. We had already done the first phase, and they have been approved, which was for 12 EV charging points, which was 64 bays for EV charging cars, 156 e-bike docks, and that's £800,000 worth of infrastructure works associated with that. And the second phase has just been approved, which is 17 new sites for approval, all with EV charging points, and that's 84 bays for charging, 98 e-bike docks, and 1.15 million for infrastructure works. The important thing to say is all ward councillors have been involved at this all the way through, suggesting locations, the team listening to any concerns they've had and changing the plans if necessary. I'd also like to say that subject to weather, from Sunday nights for the next month or so, lining work will be carried out on Sunday nights at North Cross for 2 Sundays consecutively. followed by Manadon Roundabout for the following 2 Sunday nights, and then also by Marsh Mills. These are being done on Sunday nights only because of the amount of volume of traffic that goes through, and the lining works are already faded. Moving on to the active travel social prescribing, Plymouth City Council are among 11 councils in England who have secured a slice of 12.7 Department for Transport funding for the trial delivery of the active travel social prescribing pilot objective for the 3 years 22-23 to 24-25. Following an intensive competitive feasibility and assessment process, Plymouth has been awarded £1.24 million to diverse programmes of social subscribing projects. Local contributions from internal and external sources will take the overall value of this to 1.55 million. The piloting will be led by the Council Sustainable Transport Team in collaboration with colleagues in public health, as well as working with the voluntary sector and the NHS Trust. The active travel self-assessment outcome, I'm pleased to announce that in the opinion of Active Travel England, that we have demonstrated strong local leadership in support with strong plans and the emerging walking and cycling network across the city. Capability funds activities that Travel England have given us is 190,000 are to cover development of our local cycling and walking infrastructure plans, walking and cycling network design, scheme planning and design, public engagement and consultation, data evidence collection and upskilling of officers and members to the latest design schemes for them. We expect the multi-million pound bidding round, which will be known as Active Travel Fund 4, to be launched shortly, followed by the appropriate approval by the members. And my last one, Leader, just on some of the highways issues going on at the moment, 12 interactive help points, which I've mentioned before, to improve safety, I should say. They are now up and running. Upon activation, lighting and brighting in the CCTV units will be switched on and direct to the location, and the person will be able to speak to the CCTV control centre operator. The operator there has the link that can go directly to the police or street pastors and marshals operating within the cities. The locations were informed by footfall data and consultation with police, PCC Community Connections and the WAVG group. This was all funded through the Department of Transport's Safer Streets 3 funding initiative. We have now completed and commissioned another 3 traffic signal upgrades at the junction of Kings Road and Paradise Road. Members may have noticed that we've now completed 14 footbridge replacement projects across the city. They've all been painted grey, and the last one to be done is the Sainsbury's at Marsh Mills. And the engineers are overseeing the commission of the traffic signalling and CCTV installation at Forder Valley. In addition to taking advantage of the current road closure, this area has replaced the post and rail system along Forder Valley Road. Thank you, Leader.
Thanks, Councillor Green. Councillor Waiton, did you have anything you want to say? Yep.
Thank you, Leader. Just a little bit on foresting, first of all. We continue to successfully deliver against the city's nationally recognised plan for trees. In August, DEFRA announced they have approved funding for 54 hectares of new woodland planting for the Plymouth and South Devon Community Forest area. This equates to an investment of £1,154,000 to pay for 10 years of costs to establish a new and improved habitat, which will deliver multiple benefits for the local area and residents, of course. And it will reduce runoff from flood risk, and it will capture carbon and improve habitats generally. In addition, the Council continues to deliver against its ash dieback action plan to reduce the risk and mitigate, of course, for the loss of ash trees across the city. And last year, we spent over 200,000 towards this. Now, I'd like to mention supporting young people in work, because I know the Leader is obviously very keen on this, and the rest of us are equally. So the Council recognises the value and importance of providing good quality careers for the next generation of environmental managers to continue the growth of our blue and green sector. We have continued to successfully employ 8 apprentices in the street scene and waste and environmental planning, and we've supported 15 Kickstarter placements through the Plymouth National Grid project. This particular Kickstarter scheme was recognised as the most inclusive Kickstarter scheme in the country by the Department for Work and Pensions. And our Councillor Bingley, our leader, is alongside Anna Russell, the Regional Director of the National Trust, and collected the award on behalf of the team in London in July, I believe. So that was magnificent. Now, just one more thing, Central Park, a network of ponds and features to capture rainwater are planned for the area near the pond at the Barn Park end. So that is by the entrance to Central Park at Barn Park, if you like. Turning this corner into a home for wildlife as well as somewhere for people to enjoy the surroundings. So we'll have opportunities for education and engagement to learn about water and nature. It is part of a system that uses sustainable drainage to allow nature to help reduce the localised flooding that occurs in this part of the park, and I'm sure we're all familiar with that. And further downstream, whilst reducing pressure on the public sewerage system, of course. And in line with the strategic flood management approach for the city, works will include improving paths and heritage features, as well as new trees and wildflower planting, so to help contribute to improved air quality and increase biodiversity in this park, whilst ensuring the scheme is ready for climate change, with planning approved. Works will hopefully be starting later this month, so that's fantastic. And there's just one more thing I'd like to say, and that's a big thank you to all the hard-working teams in my portfolio, because, you know, they're working in all weathers at the moment, and as Councillor Bingley will know, I've been out with them a few times, and I can tell you that most of them are very, very conscientious and do work hard. So I want to convey my thanks to them. Thank you, Leader.
Thanks, Councillor Wakeham. And I think it was yesterday morning that I walked past with the dogs, you and the team, just around sort of the university area. I was walking a bit late, but it was around 8:10 or 8:15, and you know, they didn't know that who was there or anything, but they all of them were working in a team. They were working dynamically and yeah, just working very, very hard. And I want to put on the record, firstly, the great work that they do, and there's not many of them, keeping this city of 263,000 people looking good. But secondly, it's disappointing for me when people knock the work that they do. They can knock councillors because we're elected, but when they are knocking the hard work that our hard-working council staff are doing, I find that very, very disappointing, and I want to record it for the record. But thanks for your update. Anyone else?
Yes.
Thanks, Councillor Mahoney.
Thank you, Leader. One announcement about adult social care. As Cabinet members, I'm sure you're aware that adult social care is particularly challenged at this time with workforce shortages and market instability. Recognising these challenges, last year we set up a local authority-owned company at Plymouth Care who could respond to provider failure by stepping in quickly and ensuring continuity of care for service users and job security for carers. In its first year, at Plymouth Care grew to employ 24 staff supporting 33 service users, delivering 13,600 hours of care per year. However, in the last fortnight, at Plymouth Care stepped in again as another provider announced they would no longer be able to continue to operate and provide care for people in Plymouth. The team responded rapidly, managing a successful transfer of service in just a few weeks. Hearing that an organisation that supports or employs you is not able to continue is worrying. The team at Plymouth Care have worked incredibly hard to reassure those individuals who require support and the staff who provide this valuable care, making this transition as smooth a process as possible, ensuring everyone continues to get the care they need. As such, the service is now employing 38 staff, supporting 49 clients, and will be delivering 33,000 hours of care per year, which is an increase of 20,000 on last year. I would like to express my thanks to everyone, but particularly thanks to Joe Green, Rebecca Pannell, Mandy Whitby and Kerry Lee Milne, but also everyone who is working in social care in this city at the moment, because they are all working incredibly hard. The service is much needed, it's essential, and we're very grateful, I'm sure, for all the work that they do. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Councillor Mahoney. Anyone else? No. Okay, thank you. Thanks for all of that. Lots of positive improvements happening and lots of good teamwork. And that brings us swiftly on to agenda item 8, Finance Monitoring Report Month for Councillor Shea.
Good afternoon, colleagues. This report sets out the revenue monitoring position for the council for period 4 to the end of the financial year 22-23. I must emphasise that, like everybody in Plymouth, every resident and every business, we are in extraordinary times. And as a consequence of which, we are currently in a gross deficit position of some £14.8 million. However, I would like to say that through management actions and no impact on the residents in Plymouth, we've managed to achieve over £6 million savings already. However, that's still not enough, and there are more actions for us to be taken. In response to eliminating this adverse variance, management has developed an all-year financial recovery plan, which will be subject to further work to crystallise further savings. The recovery plan includes a full review of all the staffing costs, including managements of vacancies, all fees and charges, all current procurements and contracts, in-year capital programme spend, debt management, reserves and contingencies, grants and subsidies, our building and estates management and requirements, current transformation initiatives, and finally, further minor yet contributory initiatives. We will get there. I'd like to draw your attention to that this is the budget, which is the year-on-year daily running of the council, which considerably differs from the capital budget that we spend on improving and funding the improvements in the city to increase the well-being and business of the city. So there is a significant difference there. So you will see huge improvements in the city rolling forward, and you will see by the end of the year us manage the deficit forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Shea. Any questions? Okay. Just to amplify, I think many of us saw the news stories at the weekend, where a particular pub owner, not in Plymouth, but their annual fuel bills were £60,000 last year. And remember, fuel had gone up already last year. They're now £420,000 a year. And then a couple of community centres that I was talking to yesterday, their fuel bill around £6,000 or £7,000 a year. It's gone up to £22,000 to £26,000 a year. So a lot of organisations are seriously reflecting about how they approach the next few months around sort of thinking about transition strategies, around pausing things. And we have a legal obligation to deliver a balanced budget. We will be financially responsible, and our pledge is that we will be sharing the information with the community and with other political parties as we move through this process. It's a responsibility on us all, not just in the council, but across our communities, to cut our sort of clothes to suit our cloth, really, if you can phrase it that way. But that it's unfortunate, but let's wait and see what the government strategy is in terms of alleviating some of the costs and in terms of how the energy market behaves over the next few months. And we will come through this stronger and in a much more ambitious position, I think, as a city pushing forward over the next few months and years. So thanks for all your hard work on it. I know you've been through as a team looking at different options and things, but thanks for that report, Mark. I think it's we're just there to note the report at this point. Are you all content to do so? Yeah. Thank you very much, colleagues. Agenda item 9, corporate plan, quarter 1, 22-23. And again, I move this to Councillor Shea.
Thank you, Leader. The purpose of this report is the corporate plan performance report that details how the council is performing against its priority performance indicators that were agreed at the inception of the corporate plan. It provides an analysis of the performance at the end of June 2022 against the Council's key performance indicators, KPIs, providing a detailed performance update against the corporate plan priorities. Now, there's a huge amount of data in there, but what I would like to do is just point out some of the successes in there. We've seen improvements in the local employment rates, which is now rated green following an increase up to 75.5% of employed. We've also seen an increase in the number of adults safeguarding inquiries, which have now been closed with the desired outcome. This has turned green as a result of the improvement to 95.3%. This is good progress, but we're always looking for further areas to improve. I recommend you to note this report.
Thanks, Councillor Shea. And just as an appendix, there's our updated plan. So it's Plymouth's Future, our delivery plan, which we announced. I think we published at the start of July, didn't we? The 7th of July, around there. And there are updated data on some of the achievements because we set out targets basically for our 4 main strategic objectives. That was mainly sort of high value jobs. So I'm assuming that will be published, and it's published, and people can look online to see how we're progressing against those objectives that we have set as a Cabinet administration. I will move on. We content to note the report. Thanks, Councillor Shea. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader.
There we go. And agenda item 10, Plymouth Plan Annual Report. We are asked to note the report that since its inception in 2014, the Plymouth Plan has set out a shared direction of travel for the long-term future of the City of Plymouth. This is the 2nd annual report that's been produced, and it provides Cabinet with an overview of the progress of the past year for each of the different elements of the plan. It also provides an opportunity to reflect on the progress in the first 7 years of the plan. I think if I can thank you, Paul, and the team for the tremendous amount of work that you've done on this, and also you seeing it through, from inception, and I know we've had sort of several meetings, across Cabinet members, sort of looking at the different milestones and giving our thoughts. It's difficult to corral. I mean, one of Paul's challenges is corralling our expectations as councillors when this strategic plan was put in place almost sort of 8 years ago, and we're all excited, I think, to be not just noticed but to contribute to the next one that's coming, and it's about getting that right to make Plymouth a properly sort of ambitious, outward-facing city. So, any comments on the report? No. If you're content, we're content not to have a presentation or further detail on it. It's good work, and we note the content of the report. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. Agenda item 11, Climate Emergency Planning Statement. I hand over to Councillor Stoneman.
Thank you, Leader. Cabinet, I'm very pleased to be presenting the Plymouth and South West Devon Climate Emergency Planning Statement today on behalf of Councillor Rebecca Smith. We have worked with members of South Hams and West Devon and has been discussed in detail at the Joint Local Plan Partnership Board. The document before us has been developed as a result of members in all 3 authorities wanting a strong and urgent response to the climate emergency. It's important to note this is an interim policy that introduces new requirements ahead of a full review of the JLP. By agreeing to this today, it will carry weight as a material consideration in the determination of future planning applications, ensuring these developments are more sustainable and support faster action in response to our declaration of the climate emergency in 2019. The statement was widely consulted on during March and April. We have received over 1,800 responses from 128 individuals and organisations. These are summarised in the consultation report and has informed to the final document. You will see from the papers that there was considerable support for urgent action on climate issues, with around 49% of comments wanting to go even further. However, we have to work within current national planning limitations, and we felt that we needed a quick, practical and pragmatic approach and response that puts appropriate new policy in place now. We have already started the work on the evidence, and we will need for more comprehensive policies that may go into the next JLP. In summary, there are 7 new mitigation measures and 6 new adaptation measures, which complement the new building regulations that came in force on the 15th of June. These include some innovative measures and should ensure that new homes and buildings are developed to a high environmental standard and do not need retrofitting as soon as they are built, ensuring thermally efficient buildings, reducing reliance on fossil fuels and maximising the use of renewable energy, particularly important now given the very high costs of energy. This highlights this administration's commitment to the climate emergency and is an important step towards our goal of net zero by 2030, alongside working with our partners in South Hams and West Devon. The detailed measures are set out on page 86 in paragraph 4.3 of the report, and officers are here to answer any questions. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you, Councillor Stoneman, and thank you to you, Councillor Smith. And I know a lot of officers in the background have done a tremendous amount of work on this. And I mean, it's been very pleasing since I was elected. I've not been elected that long here, but that this council has approached tackling the climate emergency in a really collaborative way, you know, across the political spectrum. We all take it immensely seriously. It is our role here to hand over administration that is of best service to future generations, and that does mean making sure that the little impact we can have as a city council in terms of leaving the council sort of greener and leaner in many ways, and about harnessing technology and transformation over the next couple of years, so that our carbon footprint is far less than it has been. I think in many ways one of the few positives of the fuel sort of crisis will be that it will force us even more to find innovation and sort of IT transformation, and that our carbon footprint will be lessened. But it's something that all of us take very, very seriously, and I think this report leaves the community in no doubt whatsoever that this is a major priority for not just this administration, but for all of the 57 councillors serving here in Plymouth. So thanks so much. Do we know this, or do we go to a vote? We vote. So all those voting to support that the emergency planning statement be referred to City Council for formal adoption as an interim policy statement, pending completion of the next review of the Plymouth and South West Devon local joint plan. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, colleagues. That's carried. Thank you for your time, and that concludes the meeting at 16:03 hours. Look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.